Welcome back. It's more than just a pleasure to come and continue to look at this subject of strategy. In many senses, strategy it has become a passion of my life. I seem to love the discussion and application of strategy. Why? Because it seems to get us places. It makes me go in very many places, perhaps places I've never been to physically. But when I imagine what strategy I can do, the things that I have in my hand, it gets me excited. I hope by now you are also warmed up towards this subject. But we continue in our consideration of that grand subject that I've just been talking about. This time we go to look at the benefits of strategy. What are some of the benefits that accrue to us, that come to us as we carve out our strategies, as we implement our strategies, as we put our strategies in place and begin to do the things that we have set out to do? Well, there are many benefits, of course, that come with strategy. Like we said, it is a necessary thing, it is important, it will get us places. But some of the benefits that come to us is that when you have a strategy, as you begin to implement strategy, it helps you to be focused. It helps you to set your objectives correctly, and it helps you know where you want to go exactly and the steps of how you're going to get where you're going. Secondly, strategy helps us in our curving or making out our mission statement, our vision statement, what we want to be in future, what our dream is, and why we exist, why we are here. A strategy will do that for us neatly. So strategy helps us in that area. But thirdly, strategy is beneficial in that it helps us to move at the right pace, at the right time, in the most economic manner, in the most efficient manner, with not much ado. We're able to achieve the unimaginable. We're able to achieve those things that the world has thought were impossible. But if we have the right strategy, we will get there. I often marvel at those great nations like the United States of America. The Japanese, 50 years ago, they were in ashes almost. You remember those 2 atomic bombs that were landed on their soils? They were, for all practical purposes, written off. And people said, these Japanese, nothing, forget about them. But today, as we are talking, they are giving a run to the United States. They're one of the G8, they're one of the great economies in the world. What is it that has made them reach there? I would like to assert, and I would like to put it to you, it is because they have had the right strategy, they have had the right leadership, they have had a resolution in their hearts. So the benefit of strategy is that it helps you to move at the right pace. When I think about the Americans, while we are thinking about day-to-day things, what we are going to eat, which house we are going to live in, and so forth, they are thinking of how to get to the planet Mars, man. They want to get human beings on that planet. They have sent space probes, robots, all these that have gone out in space to survey God's creation. While we're talking about, hey, this one has stolen this here, this one has taken my shima and all, they are thinking big. They are thinking long term. They are saying, where do we want to be 20 years, 30 years, 40 years down the line? They are thinking long term. Strategy helps you to have what you call strategic future. Possibilities where you can end up and do this and that. And also I would like to say, strategy also helps us, to marshal all our resources, put them in the right place, and advance as much as we like. But there are other benefits of strategy. Strategy has other benefits that you can think about. For example, we have said that it helps us to do our objectives right, but also it does help us to be resilient. It does help us how to handle the challenges that come our way. We turn challenges into opportunities. We are able to understand our enemies. We know their weaknesses and their strengths, and we know how to handle any eventuality that shall come our way. Imagine we didn't have a strategy. Imagine the amount of confusion that would hit us if things don't work out the way that we had planned. You know, I always marvel how that certain people, when things seem to be turbulent around them, things don't seem to be going on well, these people never seem to be panicking. And I've often wondered, how is it that they have managed? Well, I think the bottom line is that they have a strategy. They plan, they look ahead, and they ensure that they get what they want out of life. I've worked with people, and I've marveled, how is it that they seem to be going from strength to strength? They seem to be getting that job and the other. They seem to be recognized here and the other. And the rest of us keep complaining and say, why? But as I have sat, as I've analyzed these people, I've begun to, crystallize their strengths and begin to say, this is what makes him or her tick. And I seek to learn. I want to be a learning organization, or an individual rather. But even as an organization, we must be learning. We must be changing all the time. And once you learn those things, you discover, you begin to learn the competencies as well. You have the intuition, and so on. But another benefit about strategy is that it helps the organization to be a learning organization. You know, in this global economy in which we are, things change so quickly and fast. And we must ensure that we are moving with the times. But a learning organization that is strategic will position itself. The people it hires and the people that are there will ensure that they are ahead of the pack. They know what is happening and they position themselves and they get ahead. If your organization is not learning, if you are not a learning person, well, I can assure you, you're not going to go very far in this life. But well then, friends, I wish we could continue. Let's go in the next session to look at the subject of the tactics. Some of the tactics that the great strategists have used, and perhaps we can use them in our lives to get ahead in whatever we're doing. Please stay with us as we continue with this grand subject of strategy. See you in the next session.